Okay, so like imagine, right, you're an entrepreneur. You've got this killer idea, this
Mhm.
game changer, but there's a hitch. You want to shake things up in the one place that's like glued to tradition, doing things by the books and well, forever. Finance.
Yeah.
How do you even start to disrupt something that's been around for centuries?
Right. Talk about an uphill battle.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. This company, Acin, they're not just keeping pace with the financial world. They're like rewriting the rule book. We're going deep into operational risk management. And let me tell you, Asin's story, it's got some golden nuggets of wisdom for anyone in any field trying to make a dent in the universe. Now, I know operational risk management might sound a little dry, but stay with me. Imagine all the things that could go wrong in a business like ever. Cyber attacks, regulations coming out of nowhere, even just good old-fashioned human error. Now multiply those oops moments on a banking scale.
Massive data breaches, fines that make your eyes water, customer trust down the drain.
Exactly. That's operational risk. And for these financial bigwigs,
Mm.
it's not just a headache, it's an existential crisis waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where ASIN steps in. Founded in 2018 by this risk management guru, Paul Ford, he came in with a solution as brilliant as it is crucial. This cutting-edge SaaS platform.
Basically, they're delivering powerful software on demand. Like, imagine a fine-tuned engine, but for managing these crazy risks.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, number crunching or checking boxes. What's so wild about ASIN's platform is it actually brings collaboration to an industry that's, well, let's be honest, usually pretty secretive.
Right.
It's like the opposite of how things usually work in finance.
Big time. Think about it. Banks, they usually keep their slip-ups, their close calls on lockdown. But ASIN, they said, hold on, what if we actually learn from each other's mistakes?
Right. Radical transparency.
Exactly. They built this platform where these institutions, they can share info about risks they've faced, anonymously, of course.
Creating this gold mine of insights,
Yeah.
right? So everyone can step up their game.
Precisely.
Okay, but building something like that, getting these industry giants on board, that takes something special.
Yeah.
So let's break down ASIN's secret sauce, because trust me, these are ingredients for success in any entrepreneurial venture. First up, and this one's no surprise, technology. But they didn't just dip their toes in, they went all in. AI, advanced data analytics, even risk visualization tools.
And it's incredible how they're using this stuff to solve real problems. For example, their AI engine, it analyzes like millions of transactions instantly, spotting tiny red flags that might mean fraud, saving banks potentially millions, not to mention protecting tons of customers.
It's like having a superpowered detective working 24/7.
Right. Always one step ahead.
And speaking of being ahead of the curve, ASIN's second ingredient for success, a deep, and I mean deep, understanding of the industry. Their founder, Paul Ford, he's not just a tech whiz, he's been in the trenches of risk management. He knew the nightmares, the challenges, the fears that kept those financial execs up at night.
And that insider knowledge, being able to speak the language of their target market, knowing their needs inside and out, that gave ASIN a huge leg up. It's like trying to, I don't know, sell ice to someone in Antarctica.
Versus someone in, like, Death Valley.
Exactly. You got to know what your customers are truly thirsty for.
Okay, ready for ASIN's final ingredient for success, adaptability. The financial landscape, it's about as predictable as, well, I don't know, a toddler on a sugar rush.
I was going to say a hurricane, but yeah, same idea.
New regulations pop up overnight, tech's changing faster than ever, and don't even get me started on, well, everything else the world throws at us. But ASIN's secret, they roll with the punches. They're constantly listening to their customers, tweaking things, evolving their offerings to stay ahead of the game.
It's like they've got this built-in radar, keeps them pointed towards innovation, even when the world's throwing curveballs left and right.
Which is exactly what you need, right, when
Yeah.
you're in that wild, wild world of startups. And trust me, even ASIN, as dialed in as they are, they've had those almost moments. Times when one wrong step, one misstep could have sent the whole thing sideways.
Because here's the thing, even the biggest innovators, the ones changing the game, they're not immune to those classic startup pitfalls.
Oh, those pitfalls, they're sneaky.
The best or worst part is they get everyone.
Exactly. So let's pull back the curtain a little, peek behind the scenes at those moments where ASIN almost tripped.
Because, hey, it's always better to learn from someone else's near miss.
100%.
Yeah.
So first up, the expansion trap.
Yeah.
You're the hot new thing. Investors are throwing money at you. Everyone wants in. It's tempting, right, to just want to grow, G,
Oh,
W.
yeah, I know that feeling. It's intoxicating, but also Very dangerous.
And this is where Acin's discipline really shows. They knew early on that expansion without a rock-solid base, the right people, the infrastructure, to keep that quality sky high, it could be their downfall.
So many startups, they go for speed over, well, everything else, chasing headlines, more funding rounds, and they lose what made them special to begin with.
It's like, I don't know, trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of, like, playing cards.
Yikes. Recipe for disaster.
Right. But Acin, they got it. Controlled growth, strategic growth, even if it meant saying no sometimes. That was the key.
And that's huge. Saying no when everyone's telling you to say yes, that takes guts.
For sure. Okay, Acin's second almost stumble. Market dependence. They found their sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
The financial world. And it's been amazing for them.
But any entrepreneur worth their salt will tell you, putting all your eggs in one basket, no matter how nice that basket looks, it's a gamble.
It's like, what's that saying? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. What if all of a sudden regulations change? Some new tech comes out of nowhere and disrupts everything. Or, let's be real, the universe just throws a curveball.
Because the universe loves doing that, doesn't
Well,
it?
it's a hobby. But anyway, Acin, they saw this potential blind spot, and they decided to get proactive diversification,
Love it.
looking for ways to use their expertise, their tech, to solve problems in other industries, you know? Think outside their usual box.
Brilliant.
Pretty.
Creating multiple paths to success, building in that resilience so if one market takes a hit, it's not a knockout punch.
Exactly. Spreading the risk, opening up new possibilities. Smart move.
Totally. Okay, Acin's last, that was close, moment. And this one speaks to me. Ignoring continuous learning. Remember how we were talking about tech changing at like warp speed?
Oh, yeah.
The learning curve in the entrepreneurial world? It's like that, but on a rocket.
Mm.
Never really flattens out.
Especially in a field like Acin's, innovation is everything. They realized to stay on top, to keep that edge, they had to commit to constantly learning, growing their knowledge, being curious, like building that into their company DNA.
It's like you snooze, you lose, right? Especially in the fast-paced tech world. But Acin, they're all about staying ahead, being those early adopters.
Oh, absolutely. And they've made that a core part of their culture, like encouraging their team to get certified, go to conferences, even just having these casual learning lunches where everyone shares cool stuff they've learned.
Love that. Creating that culture of always leveling up. It's not just about building a company. It's about building a team of, like, learning machines, which, let's be real, that's the secret sauce for any company that wants to make it, right?
100%. A team that never stops learning, that's a team that's going to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly. So we've dug into Acin's winning formula, those moments where they almost took a wrong turn. But the big question is, how do we use all this right? How do we actually apply these lessons?
Because knowledge without action, it's like, I don't know, a car without an engine. You're not going anywhere.
Love that analogy. Let's turn those aha moments into to-dos, shall we? So first up, and this is like a broken record with Acin, but seriously, harness technology. And I'm not talking about just chasing the latest shiny object.
Right, it's got to be strategic.
Yeah.
Think about your industry. What are the biggest headaches, the things that make everyone go, ugh, why is this still a thing? And then here's the kicker. Figure out how tech can solve those problems.
It's like having this toolbox, right?
Yeah.
Full of the most high-tech gadgets you can imagine, but you don't just start randomly using them. You got to figure out what you're building, what you're trying to fix, then you pick the right tool.
Exactly. Tech, for tech's sake, that's not a strategy. But using tech to solve real problems, that's how you innovate.
100%. All right, lesson number 2, and this one's close to my heart because it's all about that human touch.
Yeah.
Build strong relationships. And I'm not just talking about remembering birthdays or sending out those holiday cards, although those are nice.
It's got to be deeper than that. Building genuine connections, real trust with your customers. Because at the end of the day, business, it's all about people, right?
Totally. People connecting with people.
Exactly. Understanding your customers, what they need, what they want, what keeps them up at night, and then exceeding those expectations. That's how you win.
Turn those customers into, like, super fans.
Yeah.
The kind of people who don't just love your product, they love your whole company, your mission.
They become your biggest advocates.
Yes. And Acin gets that. They didn't just want to sell software. They wanted to build a community, a place where everyone's learning and growing together. They knew that was the key.
And you know what? They were right. Relationships over transactions every single time.
Beautifully said. Okay, last gem of wisdom from the Acin playbook. Are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Embrace agility. Because, as we've established, the entrepreneurial journey, it's not exactly a straight line, is it?
More like a roller coaster, right? With loop-de-loops and corkscrews you didn't even know were possible.
That's the perfect way to put it. Full of surprises, good and, well, not so good.
Exactly. And being able to adapt, to shift, to see those changes as opportunities, that's what separates the survivors from the.
The ones who weren't quite so adaptable.
Let's just say they didn't quite stick the landing. Okay, I love that. But Acin, they're like those gymnasts, sticking the landing. Every single time, they're constantly evolving, trying new things, pivoting when they need to. So there you have it. A deep dive into Acin, a company that's not just changing the game in finance, they're changing how the game is played, period.
They've shown us how powerful it is to really embrace tech, to build those genuine connections, and to never, ever stop adapting.
And on that note, I'm going to leave you with this. Imagine you're Paul Ford, the mastermind behind Acin. You've built this incredible company, you're changing an entire industry. What's that one bold move, that game-changing decision you make to take Acin to the next level? Something to think about as you navigate your own adventures, right? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.